Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of HCS Matters. My name is John Wright. I'm the Director of Public Relations for Hardin County Schools. Here with two wonderful folks, and we'll be talking about a program called Hope Collaborative, where it's a mentorship program that will help students through some challenging times and even some joyous times, and they're going to talk about that, and we'll visit about that for the next 30 minutes or so. Micah Johnson is part of that program, and I think lots of people know Micah from he's of course been around Elizabethtown for a long time, and Dr. Cassandra Woods from Hope Collaborative, and she's a retired JCPS educator. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I cannot believe you're a retired. You must have started teaching, Dr. Woods, when you were 12 or something like that.
Of course, I was 12. No. 27 years, loved every single minute of it.
Awesome. Well, tell us about Hope Collaborative and what you hope to accomplish with the program.
Oh my goodness. So Hope Collaborative is a program where we connect children in public schools with caring adults. Okay. And the key is that it is a consistent, caring adult who can pour into them and champion for them and create realities that they had absolutely no idea even existed. Mm-hmm. And so we do that for public school students in Hardin County and Oldham County and Jefferson County. Hopefully we're going to move to other counties. We do it in Indiana. So we really just want to change the landscape of the city by changing one student's experience at a time through an adult who just loves them.
And obviously you've had some success with this, or you wouldn't be expanding into other counties. So just talk about some of those successes, if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, when we started in Oldham County, and so we have grown. As you can see, our city is growing. Mm-hmm. The need is growing. And so as we develop, I guess, probably a broader need to connect with students inside the context of school, because that's what we do. That's perhaps a little different from other mentoring programs. Our mentors go inside the school during the school day and meet the student where he or she is. We're growing because the need for that connection is growing even more.
Mm-hmm. For some silly reason, you hired this guy to run your Hardin County operation.
Oh my goodness! And I'm telling you, he is doing phenomenal things in Hardin County, and I couldn't be more honored and proud to just work alongside him.
Right. Well, Micah and I joke a lot, but Micah, you have obviously you're from here. Your kids go to school in this district. Your wife works in this district. You're not you're Hardin County. Right. Yeah, you're familiar with Hardin County. So talk about what you have seen, not just in our district, but with kids. In your other roles that you've had in life, you've always worked with kids. What have you seen that kind of led you to this mission and how it's going to have success here in our area?
I'm nearing 20 years of working with kids in our area, and I want to see them succeed. I want to see them grow, and I actually stepped away from my last job because I felt I was needing to do a job like this. I didn't know this job was coming, didn't know this job was going to be here, but I knew I needed to do something where I was serving the kids in our community, the kids, the vulnerable children, the children who need a little extra something, need that one person that or an additional person in their life. And so I'm super excited. I've been with this organization since August, and we're rolling. We've got, we started with 3 schools. We started at West Hardin, Bluegrass, and North Middle. And we were rolling out mentors in those. I had 5 mentors that got started pretty quickly, getting to share some stories even at lunch. Folks who come in and do an art project each day as they speak with some girls and just share life together and help them realize that there is more, that they can expect more and they can hope for more. Mm-hmm. They're not stuck necessarily in a rut that they've seen in their life or anything like that. We're up to 9 active mentors. I've got 5 more that I'm working on placing this week, so we'll hopefully get rolling, but that's 27 prior to this week. I had a new one start yesterday at North Middle. Brandon started, and so we're up to 30 students having someone in their life.
That's awesome.
And so we're going to keep rolling.
And and obviously there are other programs kind of like this. Big Brothers Big Sisters is the first one that comes to mind. But like Dr. Woods said, this program is totally in the school. And when we have obviously learned, and it's a shame it took us this long to figure this out, that mental health is just as big as physical health, and just as important. So without going into the weeds and the details, I mean, what does a mentor, what's a typical day or a typical conversation or time with a child? What's it like? And I know that varies.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 aspects that we really want to communicate as we spend time with our students. We want to do a check-in. Basically, we want our mentors to know their name, know who they are, what they have going on in their life. So you're checking in. Hey, what happened since I saw you last? You told me your dog was sick, or you told me you had a baseball game. How'd that game go? What's going on? You're supposed to remember them. You want to care about them and share in those moments. And then say, hey, what's coming up this week? So that's our check-in element. To me, the second and third parts go together. That's our character education. We want them to have good characters, good principles in their life that can help them be a phenomenal student, young person, into a phenomenal young adult. But that's also mixed in with this time of play, depending on the age, activity, card game, something where they're just hanging out. They literally might go home, or they might go back to class and just say, "We played cards today." I don't really. But we know that we're sharing good nuggets of wisdom, truth, different things with them, helping them to understand that there is a lot more out there. That's where I told you the lady who did art projects. She's an artist. She uses what she has in her life to share with her girls her life principles through art.
And this is not, I may get emotional now that I'm talking about it, because you know me, I get emotional. So this is not just the kid who's making C's and D's and may come from a single parent home where things aren't good. This could be a kid that's making A's. Right. This could be a student who maybe just have some challenges, and obviously you have some help in identifying those. Just talk about the different approaches that you take with, it's not a one-size-fits-all, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'm going to take the first part of this, and I'm sure you can add to it here in a second. But John, you and I, you got three daughters. I've got kids in my life. We want someone other than your wife and you. I want somebody other than my wife and myself investing in my kids.
Sure.
We need help. And so, yes, we do have single-parent homes. Yes, we do have the C and D students. Yes, we do have the ones who are coming out of maybe rough situations. But we got kids who are just shy. We got kids who are maybe just a little awkward. We got kids who are just need a little extra attention. We've got some who have phenomenal homes. They just need some extra help. We all need a little extra help in parenting.
I wish I had a mentor. I'm almost 50.
Yeah. So you come to school one day and we'll see who we can hook you up with.
We'll expand the program.
Right. That's wonderful.
This is the not senior adult. No. But we want every student, it would be phenomenal if every kid, because I've looked and my kids would benefit from this. So I would love for us to have so many people that we have so many volunteers, so many students having that extra person. Our goal is to help teachers do their job better.
Right.
Because they're not having to worry about, you got the little girl who didn't get called on all day because she doesn't want to get in trouble. She's shy, she's quiet. You could go home at the end of the day as a teacher and go, I didn't talk to Jenny at all today because she didn't require extra stuff because the other ones who did required so much attention.
Right.
And so maybe we're that person for Jenny, or maybe we're that person for Johnny because Johnny's the one who's sucking up all the attention from the teacher, and now the teacher's like, Jenny, thank you so much for being a phenomenal student and sitting here quietly and listening and learning. So there's so many different things, but we want better attendance, better grades, better behavior. And if we can do those things by giving them a caring person, they're going to be better students.
Right.
And one of the things to just add on, I think, Micah said everybody wants to be seen.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to feel valued. And for some students, the structure of school, just the very structure of it, doesn't allow that to truly manifest. And so what's beautiful about Hope Collaborative and the in-school mentoring program is we have adults whose primary goal is to just pour into a child and see a child and elevate a child's experience. As an educator, I've shared with Micah before that, you know, we kind of create systems, and I think we need systems because we're dealing with students from a variety of places. But sometimes these systems are designed prior to us ever meeting students. These systems are designed so that they kind of manage the masses. And sometimes when we do that, we lose the individuality of experience. And so for many students, the benefit of having a champion is just being seen, having a space in your day where, let's say, school's not necessarily a positive experience, because it's not a positive experience for everyone.
Sure.
I'd love to be able to say, as a 27-year educator, that it's a positive experience for everybody, but it's not. And so within the context of school, what we want to start doing is changing that narrative, changing the idea for so many students that think they can't. We want them to understand, yes, you can, and that just comes through connection.
Right. In your experience, your educational experience, I mean, is it fair to say we saw kids fall through the cracks, not just in your classroom, in our
100%.
classrooms,
100%.
you know, in Mrs. Johnson's classrooms? I mean, it just happens, and so. And it still may happen, but Hope Collaborative is gonna catch a whole lot more than
we
not,
hope
right?
to. You know, that's our goal, and you're absolutely right. It's unfortunate to say that, you know what, there are some students that we unfortunately don't get the opportunity to reach. But what we know is that if a school, because they choose the students, so we rely on the school to actually select the students, and we simply say, who needs a champion? Who needs a champion? Who just with a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of support, that little extra would just be exceptional. And they provide that to us, and then what we provide is the experience.
I would imagine a Family Resource Center coordinator, a guidance counselor, transition coach, principal would, I would say they're probably your all's biggest fans. Is that a fair statement?
I have had conversations with assistant principals at a soccer field and told them about this new job that I was starting, and they were like, me next, come to us, me next.
Exactly.
And so they're excited. I've gone to schools presenting, here's who we are, here's what we'd like to do in your school, and quickly the conversation comes from me to you all to now you two are talking because you know the students. You have the students already in your head, and your eyeballs are almost communicating,
you know their stories.
This little boy, this girl, they need this.
Yes.
And we're seeing some of it already. We know that, I almost called it this post-COVID world, but we're still not fully there. But in a sense, this year has tried to get back to normal. We've been pretty crazy between snow days and things. But some of my mentors are already seeing some progress. I had one share that they've encouraged a better bedtime. They're not the mom, they're not the dad, they're not the one who say, it's bedtime, go to bed, which is what I would do, which is what you would do. But they've said, you know, it's not helping you, is it, to stay up late? Well, no, I don't guess so. I don't know the full details around the conversation, but the notes are telling me that the kid has said, yes, I've started going to bed early. Attendance is looking a little bit better. And so in theory, we're already getting there in some regards. And there's only been a handful of sessions. This mentor has only met with her kids for 7-8 times. So it's already showing it's working.
And so I'll ask one question and then the next. If somebody says, well, that's Mrs. So-and-so's job, or that's Mr. So-and-so's job, that's that teacher's job is to help them through these times or whatever. Well, some of that is true, but their job is to teach them about biology. Their job is to teach them about you know,
ABCs 1, 2, 3.
That's exactly right. Mathematics. That's their focus. But teachers have always kind of given that extra care and support. But with something like this, I mean, there's no limit. I mean, there's no capacity. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the connection, I mean, because you're absolutely right. The classroom teacher is primarily responsible for that cognitive development, right? We want students to understand math, language arts, science, and social studies, even before COVID. Post-COVID, though, what's happened is we as educators, we've underestimated the power of socialization. And so that socialization piece, that piece where we just connect, we connect as two human beings, well, now, post-COVID, that's a little heightened. And so certainly teachers absolutely still have the biggest hearts in the world, former teacher, biggest hearts in the world. But the challenge is a lot greater now to make sure that you are connecting with the child's heart in the space that child is in. And so that's where mentors.
So the second part of my question is, well, if it's not teacher's job, it's Micah's job as a dad or John's job as a dad. Well, I may be working 2 jobs, or I may have some other children, or I may have some other obstacles. You're not failing as a parent if your kid is involved in Hope Collaborative.
It's not an either or.
Right.
It's a both and. Because we have some great moms and dads, and I know some of the moms and dads. We all need a little extra help. I think it's the Little League coach. I think it's the parent. It's the teacher. It's the Hope Collaborative mentor. It's all coming together, because they say the old saying is it takes a village, and it does. And so that's why our name is Hope Collaborative, because we're not trying to do it for you. We're not trying to replace you. We're just trying to collaborate with you to come together to make something a little bit better for them, for the student.
We talk about COVID, and I don't think it's a secret that in the post-COVID world, and even though we're still in it, people are a little angrier. I mean, you see all these YouTube videos of, Micah punching somebody, not Micah, but you know what I'm saying, somebody punching somebody at the store or whatever like that. But and so the mental health obstacles are far greater than even in a pre-COVID world, or maybe they've just been brought out. But obviously, Hope Collaborative can help with that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's about meeting people where they are.
There you go.
And so, whether or not we say it takes a village or it takes multiple perspectives to develop a whole child. When you think about parents, as parents, we have a perspective about our children. Our lens is that of a parent. As teachers, our lens is that of a teacher. As school administrators, our lens is that of a school administrator. But sometimes it takes the lens of someone who doesn't wear that hat to just see a different gift in children that maybe those other hats, because they're focused on something else, didn't see. So it's about discovering this amazing person who sometimes is buried underneath a variety of experiences that do impact mental health. And we want people to be the best version of themselves they can possibly be.
Absolutely. We'll talk about some of the things that teachers have said after after a mentor has built that relationship with a student, and some of the things that they've talked about, how that student has changed in and out of classroom.
I don't have those stories yet in Hardin County.
But you will.
But you will.
I will, and I'm not, but in my first, I shadowed one of our other guys who's in Oldham County, and I went to 2 different middle schools there, and I sat in the counselor's office, so I asked that question because I want to hear stories. Cassandra and I are we're big on stories. We want to hear more of the kids' stories. We want to hear more of the mentor stories. So I said, tell me a story of how Hope Collaborative has been successful and helped you all. And so he told me about a kid. I'm going to call the kid Jeff. That's not his name. That's the guy who runs Oldham County's area. So anyway, Jeff was a very dark 6th grader. Very, very dark hair down in front of his face, head always lowered, very concerning. Multiple people went to the counselor and said, hey, can you check on Jeff? Hey, can you do this? He said it was a very dark sense of humor. I don't even know if it was a sense of humor, just concerning. And so they got Jeff into a mentor group, and he began to brighten up a little bit, began to walk a little taller, had his long hair but had pulled back. And so this counselor said literally this week, this was in September, and so school had just gotten rolling and we weren't in the building back yet, but his mentor was going to be there with him. And he said the kid has stopped the counselor every Friday because Fridays were his days. Is Mr. Gregg back? Mr. Gregg going to be here today? Is Mr. Gregg here? And so there were 2 or 3 Fridays that before things got rolling that he was just anxious for Mr. Gregg. Awesome. And I didn't get the stats on his grades or his attendance or his behavior, but the story changed from a very dark, concerning child to a very bright, positive, the teachers were enjoying him child.
Well, let's talk about the mentor. We've got about 5 to 7 minutes left. From the mentor side, I would think that the blessing is there too, because you have the opportunity. To me, if I'm going to be a mentor, I better walk the walk, and if I'm going to talk the talk, I better walk the walk. If I'm going to encourage this child to do this way, I probably need to do that way. So to me, if I'm a mentor, that kind of gives me a little bit of pep in my step, so to speak. How have you seen that happen?
We have seen, I have conversations throughout the week, whether it's text or phone calls or sit at the coffee shop, and I've had tears from mentors who are already hurting for their kids. Their hearts are already breaking because they just care so much for this child that when they're hurting, they're hurting. When the kid is hurting, the mentor is hurting. And so they've connected even in a short amount of time, and they're there for them. Miss Joyce was just telling us at lunch today, her words were, I think I'm getting more out of this than they are.
Yes.
Yes. And she's sharing stories about her girls and what they're doing together. She's the artist, so she's doing her little art projects, and she's teaching them art. But I think the things that they're getting are much deeper than art. And we keep talking about her girls. Hope Collaborative Mentoring is not a one-on-one mentoring program. It's a group mentoring. And part of the reason for that is we want that accountability with each other as peers. They're all in the same grade in that group, and we want them to have a bond with each other, that even if I'm not here as your mentor, you got your brothers here, you got your sisters here.
Right, and just the semantics part, obviously there's extreme confidentiality involved in this. And obviously too, if the child says something that is of utmost concern or is an immediate maybe of worry, then that mentor is going to tell somebody at that school that needs to hear that.
We have pretty intense processes that some of our mentors say, oh my gosh, this is awfully involved, because we want to make sure that we are putting people who are equipped, they have the heart, but we also want them to know a few steps that need to happen in the event a student does say that something that's concerning, that someone is hurting them or that they're, being hurt by someone. So we make sure that our mentors go through a pretty intense training where we provide them with all of that information.
We want the kid to be safe, first and foremost. These are our babies, these are our minors. So we want to make sure that the people we are putting in with them are safe. And then we want to make sure they're trained. They're equipped to do the job. And so when we have a mentor in there, they have that report, but I also tell the kids, well, I'm not running and tattling everything you tell me. If it's going to help you be a better student, I might let your counselor know. But no, I'm not running and telling everything. But if you are hurting someone, someone's hurting you, or you're going to hurt yourself, I have to tell. Because I want you to be okay.
Right. So if I want to be involved, if I want to get involved, I want to be a mentor, what do I do? How do I reach you? What are some steps I go through?
Well, for our area, they would contact me. It's micah@hopeccd.org, or they can give me a call at 270-234-4328. And we will start the process. We'll sit down, and if you need more information before you even fill out an application, we'll have a chat, and we'll talk about it, and then do an application. And then, like you said, it's a process. There's a one-on-one interview. We make sure that everybody fits our program and fits who we are and what we want to do. And then there's paperwork, and there's protocol, and then there's training, and
And then there's multiple background checks.
yes, we run your all's background checks through Hardin County Schools, and we do ours, and we do a sexual abuse awareness training that is very good. We do trauma-informed training. So there's a lot to it, but we want to make sure they're prepared.
Right. So I don't just show up one day, hey, I want to do this, and
Nope.
the next day I'm sitting in a classroom with, or sitting in an art room with whatever, however many
We're
kids,
trying to make the process doable, but at the same time make sure they're ready and that they're safe for children.
Talk about in the last few minutes, couple minutes we had. Talk about some. What kind of parent feedback have you gotten through this, or have you?
I don't know that I have a whole lot as of yet. Now I do have. I had one grandpa who literally said, "I don't know about this," even signing up. He said, "I want to meet the mentor and meet you all first."
Okay.
And so I sat in the counselor's office. The mentor sat in the counselor's office, and Grandpa came in, and we told him who we are. We shared our heart. We shared with him about what all is going to happen. He goes, "Well, I love it," and he signed the paper, and he walked away.
Right.
And his grandchild is doing great. We're hearing great feedback from that child, and so it's really neat.
Awesome. And obviously there's a website, social media presence.
HopeCCD.org.
Okay. So plenty of ways to get in touch with Dr. Woods and Micah. Micah, of course, is handling the events or the mentors that work here in Hardin County. You can get involved. Go to that website that Micah talked about. And if you can't find that or you need information, just call us at the Hardin County Schools Central Office. We'll put you in touch with Micah. Our number at Central Office is 270-769-8800, and we'll put you in touch with Micah and Dr. Woods and that Hope Collaborative program that's doing so well in our school district. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.